In this series, I'm breaking down the 10 most valuable ungraded English cards for every Pokémon in the Pokédex. Whether you're collecting for nostalgia, tracking value, or chasing the rarest finds, this is the place to be. My name is Jordan, and if you enjoy videos like this, as well as card openings, collection updates, and other TCG content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Now let's jump into today's top 10. Today's video features the 41st Pokemon in the Pokédex. It's Zubat. At rank number 10, we have Zubat from Fossil, card number 57 of 62. This classic common from the Fossil expansion instantly evokes the nostalgic late 90s era of Pokemon TCG. Illustrated by Kagamaru Himino, this card shows Zubat in mid-flight, capturing that eerie cave vibe that fans recognize from the original games. What makes this one special for collectors isn't its competitive playability, it's its place in history. Released in 1999 as part of the Fossil set, the third expansion in the Pokemon trading card game, it helped fill out their original 151 with favorites that weren't in the base or jungle sets. Zubat's moves here are supersonic, adding confusion, and leech life, a nod to the classic game mechanics. And while it's a common, its vintage feel and early Wizards of the Coast print make it a fun foundational piece in any original set collection. This card goes for around $3. Coming in at rank number 9, we've got Zubat from First Edition Neo Revelation, card number 59 out of 64. This Zubat hails from 2001's Neo Revelation expansion, part of the second generation of Pokemon TCG sets released by Wizards of the Coast. What makes this printing cool for collectors is the First Edition stamp, the tiny little icon on the side of the card that tells you it was from the very first wave of the set's release. A key detail for vintage collectors chasing authentic early Neo cards. Illustrated by Yukiko Baba, the art gives Zubat a classic grass-type vibe, and while its simple attacks like Bite and Poison Spray aren't flashy, they reflect how early Neo cards lean into Pokemon lore and flavor text more than competitive play. Plus, Neo Revelation sits just before some of the most iconic sets in the Gold and Silver era, making this humble bat a neat piece of history for anyone building a first edition Neo collection. This card goes for around $3.25. At rank number 8, we've got this rare non-holo Zubat from the Gym Heroes expansion, released in 2000, and centered around the iconic Kanto gym leaders. Unlike the common basics from early sets, this version carries the Gym Heroes design where each Pokemon is tied to a specific gym leader. In this case, Brock Zubat illustrated by Ken Sugimori, the legendary Pokemon art director whose work helped shape the franchise's original look. Its attacks like Alert let you draw and switch Pokemon, giving it a quirky utility vibe, and while it's not a holo, the rare designation in the set makes it a neat piece for collectors looking to complete their Gym Heroes roster or showcase classic trainer-linked cards. Gym Heroes was the first large expansion to lean heavily into the animated series personalities, and cards like Brock Zubat captured the early crossover era between gameplay and nostalgic fan appeal. This card goes for around $9.50. Flying into rank number 7, we have Zubat from EX Deoxys Reverse Holo Stamped, card number 83 of 107. This version of Zubat comes from the EX Deoxys set released in 2005, and it's one of those classic reverse holo commons that still catches the eye of collectors. What makes it stand out is the stamped reverse holo treatment. You'll see the EX Deoxys set logo on the holo area, and a slightly different shine compared to regular holos, a feature Pokemon fans love from the EX era. Illustrated by Sachiko Adachi, this card keeps things simple with Zubat's self-control ability and the classic bite attack, but it's the aesthetic that's the collectible hook here. Reverse holos from the EX era often had a unique foil pattern and stamped set names that give them a distinct vintage vibe collectors chase when completing the set. Even though it's a common, seeing it in a collection next to rare holo cards really shows off how diverse the aesthetics were back in the early 2000s Pokemon TCG scene. This card goes for around $10. Landing at rank number 6, this Zubat comes from the EX Delta Species expansion, a 2005 set that introduced Pokemon with unusual Delta typings and a unique foil style that fans still love today. This version is a reverse holo, meaning the artwork and card details catch the light with that classic EX era foil finish, and you'll often see the set logo stamped right on the image, something unique compared to modern reverse holos. Illustrated by Tomokazu Komiya, The card keeps Zubat's classic Poison Fang attack, but it's the nostalgic EX aesthetics and its place in that experimental set that make it collectible rather than competitive. For players and collectors alike, EX Delta Species represents an inventive phase of the TCG, and grabbing this reverse holo Zubat adds a bit of that early 2000s flair to any binder. This card goes for around $13.50. And just like that, we're halfway through the video. At rank number 5, we've got Brock Zubat from First Edition Gym Heroes, card number 24 of 132. This is the rare early printing from the Gym Heroes expansion, one of the largest sets of the original Wizards of the Coast era, and a fan favorite for collectors building classic gym leader themed binders. This version carries the coveted First Edition stamp, meaning it was part of the very first print run of Gym Heroes in 2000, a detail that vintage collectors pay close attention to when filling out their First Edition sets. Illustrated by Ken Sugimori, the OG Pokemon art director, this card pairs nostalgic artwork with dual attacks like Alert and Wing Attack, giving it a bit more personality than your typical common, especially when tied to Brock's Kanto Gym roster. Plus, because Gym Heroes showcases Pokemon associated with specific trainers from the animated series, cards like Brock Zubat feel extra thematic and collectible for fans chasing that vintage trainer lore. This card goes for around $15. Coming in at rank number 4, this version of Zubat hails from the Skyridge expansion, the final English set produced by Wizards of the Coast in 2003, and a landmark for vintage Pokemon collectors. Unlike most earlier Zubat cards, this one carries a grass-type frame, a visual quirk from Skyridge's e-reader era, and it's illustrated by Hisao Nakamura, whose clean line work gives the simple bat design a distinct classic TCG feel. Its moves Sound Waves and Flitter aren't the flashiest in play, but what makes this card collectible isn't the gameplay, it's its place in history. Skyridge was the last Wizards of the Coast set before the Pokemon Company International took over printing, and completing your Skyridge binder has become a badge of honor for vintage fans. Plus, because Skyridge printed relatively few cards compared to other early sets, even common cards like Zubat here have a nostalgic shine in any throwback collection. This card goes for around $17.50. We're now into the top 3 Zubat cards. Sliding into the third spot is this iconic reverse holo Zubat from the EX Team Rocket Returns expansion, originally released in late 2004. Unlike regular prints, the reverse holo versions from this era are recognizable by the set stamp right on the artwork itself, a cool vintage trait you don't see in modern cards. Illustrated by Miki Tanaka, this card keeps Zubat's classic Dark Streak and Ambush attacks, but what really makes it noteworthy for collectors is that reverse holo presentation. The holo shine covers the entire card surface, giving even common Pokemon a flashy foil finish familiar to fans of early EX era sets. EX Team Rocket Returns itself is beloved in the vintage community for its fun mix of dark Pokemon and Return of Rocket theme, and grabbing a stamped reverse holo like this adds that old school TCG vibe to any classic binder. This card goes for around $18. Taking the runner-up spot at rank number 2 is this version of Zubat from the Skyridge expansion, the 15th and final set released by Wizards of the Coast in 2003. Illustrated by Kyoko Umamoto, this grass-type Zubat keeps it classic with Wing Attack and Poison Spray, but it's the context that hooks collectors. Skyridge blends e-reader era mechanics with the traditional card game, and finishing a Skyridge binder is seen as a badge of honor for vintage fans. Unlike many modern sets, every non-holo in Skyridge also had a reverse holo variant, meaning even commons like this one can show up in eye-catching foil, a treat for binder pages where beauty matters just as much as rarity. And because Skyridge generally had a smaller print run compared to other early TCG expansions, cards from this set, even commons, have a bit more nostalgic pull for collectors chasing the full e-reader era experience. This card goes for around $21. Coming in at rank number 1 for our Zubat list is this eye-catching reverse holo Zubat from the Skyridge expansion, a set that holds a special place in Pokemon TCG history. Unlike standard prints, the reverse holo version highlights the entire card surface with a classic foil pattern, a hallmark of early 2000s printings that gives even common Pokemon like Zubat a shimmering presence in any binder. Illustrated by Kyoko Umamoto, This version keeps Zubat's familiar wing attack and poison spray, but it's that hollow presentation and its Skyridge heritage that really resonates with collectors, especially since Skyridge was known for its unique blend of e-reader era design and traditional TCG gameplay. If you're chasing vintage vibes and shine in one pocket of your binder, this reverse hollow Zubat embodies that early 2000s nostalgia like few others. This card goes for around $41. That's it for this episode of the top 10 most valuable ungraded cards. Thanks so much for watching. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment. It helps me out a lot and I'd love to hear your thoughts or which card surprised you the most. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video. I've got a lot more episodes coming, covering even more of your favorite Pokemon. I'm Jordan and I appreciate your support with my channel. See you in the next one.